fights of all time, in every fight that's ever happened. But you look at those two separately, and you know, it wasn't their night tonight, and it wasn't an exciting fight.
I would win against Anthony, but here I am with a broken jaw, learning the hard way. I'll heal.
What just happened? What you just saw was, yes, Jake Paul finding out there's levels to this game. Yes, Anthony Joshua not having the greatest performance of all time, but him doing exactly what he had to do, what he needed to do for boxing, what he needed to do for...
The internet went into meltdown the second Jake Paul crashed to the canvas in his long-rumored showdown with Anthony Joshua. Almost instantly, attention shifted to Dana White. The UFC president, who has spent years openly criticizing Paul and labeling him a manufactured boxer, didn't need to say much at all. From a knowing smirk to sharp, no-nonsense remarks, White's reaction spoke volumes. To many fans, it felt like confirmation of everything he had warned about. Elite heavyweight power met internet hype, and the result was a harsh, public reality check that
calf kick, you know, the whole first round, he couldn't have had a better first round, and then he got caught.
Do you feel it's one of those things where, like, he got caught, or is it one of those things where Hangman age might be catching up to him, he might be slowing down? Which one do you think it could be?
Turned Jake Paul's confidence into a brutal lesson witnessed by millions around the world. Ever since Anthony Joshua violently stopped Jake Paul in the 6th round of their heavyweight clash, the combat sports community hasn't stopped buzzing. The knockout sent Paul straight to the hospital with a broken jaw and multiple facial fractures, instantly shifting the conversation from entertainment to serious concern. The damage was significant enough that Paul reportedly required surgery involving...
For my own credibility, I've got to knock you out, but I've got to try and knock you out where I'm not hurting you as much as what I could if I unleashed. Yeah. And with the punch you said that he landed, it's not his best punch, his most powerful punch, right? Yeah. And he's shattered his jaw in 2 places, right? So Anthony Joshua gets his 70 million, whatever it is. But I think he's sitting there thinking, thank God for that. Thank God. On a human level, I've come out, all right, I've sort of, not reputation, but I haven't hurt him as bad as what I could have.
There should be an awful amount of people breathing a massive sigh of relief. Anybody that put that fight together, athletic commissions, like you said...
It wasn't a fight.
No, it wasn't at all. Like you said, it was a prize fight. It was an event. If Anthony damages him, he's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of stress to deal with, you know what I mean? So I'm sure he's bleeding the side of relief. The team that have put him in there, that have negotiated that for him, but the authorities that put that on and commissioned it as a proper boxing match, I've no doubt.
Does that go on his...
Yeah, it's a professional boxing match.
Do you know what? If I was Anthony Joshua, I would be saying, I don't want that on my record. But for the credibility of them putting the fight on, they would have said to him, no, we've got to say this. It's been commissioned. It's going to be a proper fight. And yeah, I found it. I love my boxing, but I just find the whole thing really, really unedifying. You said about get followers. You mentioned Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is nowhere near his level of getting like a British title fight or whatever. Nowhere near. So it's basically he's like...
Beat Jake Paul.
Well, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, beat Jake Paul. But so
but what I'm saying is that 100. I stand by that, and I think Tommy would admit that. You know what I mean? To become a British champion is a very prestigious thing to do, and I think he would struggle to do that.
But I think when I was reading, he got 5.6
titanium plates, along with dental procedures, highlighting just how severe the aftermath of the fight truly was. Medical scans later confirmed what many feared. Jake Paul's jaw had fractured in 2 separate places, a serious injury commonly referred to as a double fracture. After the bout, Paul drove himself to the hospital, where doctors officially diagnosed the damage and began treatment. Recovery was estimated to take roughly 4 to 6 weeks, and Paul later shared X-rays and scans on social media, confirming the fractures while thanking fans for their support. Dana White, who had dismissed the fight as a terrible idea long before it happened, appeared validated in the eyes of many. White had openly said Paul was in over his head against a former heavyweight champion, even joked.
Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one.
Thinking that the real appeal of the matchup was fans waiting to see Paul finally get stopped. Joshua's knockout only reinforced that long. Many analysts have since described the entire build-up and outcome as a real-life Tom and Jerry scenario, arguing the ending was obvious the moment the fight was announced. According to Boxing Insiders, Jake Paul spent months playing the loud, cartoonish instigator, while Anthony Joshua remained quiet, composed, and calculated, like a predator patiently waiting. Once the bell rang, the theatrics vanished. Joshua's power, timing, and ring.
Oh man, great performance by Jake, brother.
Come on, bro. He's a fucking legend for that. He has such big balls getting in the ring with that guy, dude. Josh was a monster. He stayed in it the whole time, and I'm really proud of Jake, dude. All my respect to him, bro. Whatever outcome happened. I mean, dude, he went 6.5 rounds with Anthony Joshua, one of the best in the world. So I got nothing but respect.
And got up like 2 times.
No, it was sick.
Talk about that. I mean, there's been other heavyweights that have felt that right hand who haven't got up.
Ngannou, so many people, bro. The overhand right. Jake's got a tough chin, dude. I think he does whatever he wants after this. He just has such big balls, dude. He had to keep moving. That was the only strategy. People are gonna say he ran around the ring. They don't know. They don't understand fucking boxing.
He showed a ton of heart, right?
Intelligence completely overwhelmed Paul, producing a knockout that shocked casual viewers but came as no surprise to seasoned analysts who expected exactly that result. Veteran trainer Teddy Atlas surprised fans by outlining a theoretical path Jake Paul could have taken to pull off a shocking upset, even if it looked unrealistic on paper. Atlas stressed that styles make fights, suggesting Paul's youth, foot speed, and movement could have been used to frustrate Joshua. He noted that if Joshua's timing or confidence wasn't sharp following previous setbacks, Paul might have been able to exploit moments of hesitation. Atlas suggested an evasive strategy built around
news that broke out. And it's someone that you've always shown respect to, and I've asked you these questions before about Jake Paul. We had a surprise announcement just the other day about him and Anthony Joshua. What was your reaction when you saw that announcement? It shocked a lot of people in boxing. What did you make of that, or what do you make?
Jake hasn't made too many mistakes so far, so it got my attention. It got Teddy's attention. He's been growing. He's been growing in the ring. He's been growing outside the ring. He's been growing in confidence. I think that in the Canelo situation, that didn't happen. He was ready to do that. I think if anything else, if nothing else, he's showing you that he truly is believing in himself. And that, he's been a work in progress. He still is, and he's showing you he's putting his money where his mouth is. Everyone's calling for him to do this, to do that, and he's always had the advantage with guys that weren't real fighters. They were fighters. They were older fighters. They were MMA fighters. They were this. They were that. They were smaller. They were older. Now he's taking a guy that's bigger, older, but bigger. A real can't debate if he's a fighter. 2-time heavyweight champ. Coming off, but he's a smart son of a gun. He's a gutsy son of a... I always stood up for him because everyone was saying he was hurting the sport. He wasn't hurting the sport. In some ways, he was bringing interest in a different way to the sport. But on
constant movement, running, lateral angles, and sneaking in a surprise right hand when Joshua overcommit. It wouldn't have been pretty, but Atlas believed a survival-based, disruptive approach was Paul's only possible route to victory. The bout, marketed as Judgment Day, was scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Anthony Joshua entered as a massive favorite due to his experience, height advantage at 6 feet 6 inches, and superior size, weighing roughly 243 pounds compared to Paul's 216. After a cautious start, Joshua steadily asserted control. By the 5th round,